Welcome to another edition of Message from Mom, where we're busting the myth that mothers in law aren't necessarily monsters in law. And we have a very fun series. This is a recurring series. It's Desert Island and then fill in the blanks. We kicked it off with Desert Island Discs. Today it's Desert Island Foods. So, what favorite foods we would bring to that desert island? And I didn't overthink it too much this week, ladies, which is good. So, because for the music, I really did, but I didn't with the food. It was pretty easy. But as always, I am joined by my lovely co-hosts who happen to be my daughters-in-law, and I have Chelsea to the left of me.
Oh, Kelly.
Oh, Kelly. Kelly.
That's all right. It was bound to happen.
At least I didn't say Chelsea or what else do I?
Kelsey.
I say Kelsey and Chelly. That's what I say.
Yeah.
I combine the two sometimes. It's pretty funny.
So I am Kelly, not Chelsea.
Yes.
And I'm married to Alex, who is Beth's oldest son.
And then it's Chelsea to the right of me.
I'm Chelsea, and I'm married to Beth's middle son, Andrew.
Mm-hmm. So, ladies, we are going to raise our glass and a toast because we know you don't have to be a blood relative to love your relative. So, cheers to another
Cheers.
episode.
Cheers.
And this is 23, I think.
Cheers.
I'm pretty excited.
Oof. My glass
Yeah.
is full.
Yeah, episode 23.
Yes. And as I mentioned, so today it's Desert Island Disc. So it's just
Desert
loosey-goosey. Thank you. Hello. And this is non-alcoholic. I just want to make a note here.
Yeah.
Non-alcoholic champagne. So I don't know what my
We're drinking booze-free,
booze-free
free bubbly.
Sometimes we do drink the real thing, but today it's alcohol-free. I don't know what my problem is. So
Actually, maybe we
Desert
should take a note.
Island food. So super loosey-goosey. So we're each just going to share our favorite foods that we would take to the desert island. And I just happen to love to talk about food. I'm in no means a foodie or a great chef or anything like that, but I have always felt that connection with food and family or food and friends and food and occasions. And invariably, there's a beautiful memory that's attached.
Mhm.
And definitely with my favorite foods today. So I'll kick it off because as a young girl, I grew up in Omaha, Nebraska. And when I was like 5, maybe through 10, there were actual stockyards on the outskirts of Omaha. And whenever we would go visit like my grandparents in Iowa, I can just have these vivid memories of coming back driving and like in the summertime is typically when we made more visits to my grandparents. The windows would be rolled down in the car and you could smell the stockyards miles before you ever passed them.
Yeah.
But that's because Omaha was very well known for beef and for steaks. And we had a sling of steakhouses along 72nd Street in Omaha. So anyway, so steak was always in my life from driving past the stockyards to Saturday night where we would have steak night because that was my dad's favorite meal. And we would actually move into the dining room.
Oh, it was an event.
It was a huge event. So steak was always part of my life. And I've always laughed, through the years, you can take Omaha out of the girl, but you can't take the girl out of Omaha or a good steak.
Yeah.
Because I will have a good steak till the day I die. And so what I would bring to the desert island would be a ribeye steak. That happens to be my favorite steak because it's a little bit fattier.
Mhm.
It's very flavorful. It's very juicy. And I like how the French actually prepare it, steak au poivre. I'm probably not pronouncing that at all.
Pepper
It's
steak.
actually just a very simple way. And they usually have like a little slab of butter that they slap on top, and the butter just drips over that fatty piece of meat anyway. So definitely ribeye steak. And then how they used to serve it up in the old days, like when I was growing up at the famous steakhouses, they would always have a green onion. So you'd be served with a green onion. I love green onions and a salad.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be, Caesar salads are very popular these days, but back then
Just
that was a very special occasion when you had a Caesar salad. So just a regular green salad, but it was always steak and a salad. And then of course that baked potato.
Mhm.
Then you could get it with all of the fixings, which would be more butter, and more sour cream, and sometimes I would actually put the bacon on top of it, and it was real bacon.
Yeah.
Hmm. And then sometimes too, then there would be a side of spinach, like a cream spinach.
Yeah,
That was actually
love
very
the cream
popular.
spinach, yeah.
Or they would put an onion ring on top. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
actually not.
Mhm.
I don't know if I could have all those things on the desert island, but if I had my perfect meal, that's what it would look like. I would have the steak.
She just keeps
I
adding.
know, I keep adding on. It's not just one. It's a meal. It's a meal.
We haven't had lunch yet either. So.
We haven't had lunch yet either. But anyway, but I don't know, because I'm just conjuring up all these great memories of not only eating steak on Saturday night in my dining room, the special occasion, but going off to the steakhouses in Omaha, which is always such a treat. So yes, so I shared a whole meal, but I mean, if I were on death row, I mean, people have asked me this through the years, that would be my
That
last
would be your
meal.
meal.
That's
And-
basically what this series is like.
Perfect. I
I
Your
know, right?
death row dinner.
You're
Pretty much death row dinner.
You could have 5 different things. What would it be?
I know, but yeah. So anyway, ribeye steak, baked potato, salad, onion ring, and then that green onion too.
Nice.
Yeah, and the cream spinach. I don't know, beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful.
love it.
Yep. So that's what I would take.
It's good. I like it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So Kelly, what would you bring?
Okay, so
And by the
these-
way, Kelly happens to be a fantabulous
She is.
cook.
oh, thank you.
Yeah. So was it hard for you
Hard
to
for me?
decide what to bring? Or
No,
was it
actually, because
easy?
I think unlike music and stuff like that, like I have way more like heartfelt connections to food maybe than
Mhm.
a lot of other things, and so
Mhm.
it was really easy to kind of go from my gut and just really rip them off pretty
Okay.
quick. So
Okay.
yeah, so my first one, and these are in no particular order, I might add. I don't know if yours are going from best to least best.
No, I mean, I love all of them
Yeah,
for
so
different
it's like
reasons.
no particular order, right?
Right?
Okay, so I'm kicking it off with chorizo tacos. So these would be like the street tacos.
I've had those.
Yeah,
They're
so
good.
little street tacos, chorizo, which is a Mexican sausage, typically pork, and then just topped with a little bit of diced white onion and cilantro and a squeeze of lime. So super simple.
Mm-hmm.
And while growing up, we didn't necessarily have chorizo street tacos so much when I was a kid, but my dad's side of the family are Mexican, and so growing up, all of our breakfasts were all chorizo was always a part of it. Instead of having bacon or like breakfast sausage,
Chorizo.
we always had chorizo and scrambled eggs and things like that. And so over the years, as my palate got more sophisticated, I think I started veering more toward the like street style taco thing. So yeah, I could eat those every day.
Yum. So what are your favorite? Do you add anything besides the cilantro and the
onions and the lime?
And the lime?
No,
Do you ever?
I mean, I think, from time to time, if Alex and I are having this at home, I'll usually actually put in some scrambled egg, maybe if we're doing breakfast, or maybe a little bit of cheese, but traditionally, no. Just
Is it traditionally the street taco is just that, just all the ingredients?
yeah, just a small corn tortilla with the chorizo, cilantro, onion, and a lime.
Yum.
Yeah.
Yum, yum, yum.
Really simple, really good.
I like it.
Yep.
Chelsea, what do you have?
Unlike Kelly,
Condiments and more condiments.
yeah. Unlike Kelly, I am a terrible cook, and I will admit to that. So all of my items are actually from restaurants, and they're like specific. So my first one is, y'all are gonna laugh at me, but Chipotle. I am a diehard Chipotle #1 fan. If you ask my maid of honor, it was literally in her speech at our wedding of one of the ways to make me happy for my future husband, or not future husband, but for my husband. When she was doing the speech, it was bring me Chipotle. Andrew knows this. It's a very specific bowl that I get every time: white rice, chicken, the corn salsa, pico, sour cream, guac, and then I do the vinaigrette on the top. I don't know this. Well, really, the memory that I have tied to this is maybe it is a good memory, but also maybe not necessarily. basically in my early and mid 20s, it was my hangover food.
Yeah, you'd have an attachment to that. You'd have a memory to that. Yeah.
Well, literally, I basically, I remember I would always spend the night at my friend maid of honor, Noel's house. And I knew Chipotle opened at 10:45. And this was before they had like the Chipotle lane where you could order it on an app. Like you couldn't do that. So I knew it opened at 10:45. I knew how long it would take me to get from Noel's house to Chipotle so that I'd be there right at 10:45.
You had it timed beautifully.
I was the first person there ordering my Chipotle bowl.
There you go.
I've never been a breakfast person. So that's why it was my hangover food. Most people would be like, oh, I want to go to Waffle House or I want breakfast. I'm not really a breakfast person. So that's why.
That's why you like the Chipotle.
I love it.
A specialty bowl or special to Chelsea. And that's kind of nice. I do like restaurants where you can actually decide what ingredients you want rather than just having it.
I know that's so random.
Here's what it is.
Andrew is always like, Chipotle is not even that good. And I'm like, don't diss the Chipotle.
Comfort food comes in a lot of different modes.
Yeah.
So, it can be all kinds of different things and yours happens to be Chipotle. So there's nothing wrong with that. And also, if Chipotle is listening and wants to sponsor our podcast.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Well, you know what my favorite...
We have a diehard fan here.
Well, my favorite moment over the past 6 months is they actually recently opened up a Chipotle outside of our neighborhood. And it used to be an old Arby's. And the moment that I saw it was a Chipotle and me and Andrew were passing by, I was like, oh my God, this is the best moment to have a Chipotle right outside of your neighborhood. Like I can literally just order it and then drive on through the Chipotle lane.
There you go.
On your app and it's ready for you, right?
It's ready for me. I just drive through.
I've never done that before.
Well, on this desert island though, I think you'd have to make some other arrangements. I'm not sure you can drive up to the window.
No, you just have to bring the ingredients. You'd have to actually learn how to put it together yourself.
No one said that in the rules.
That's true. This is true.
The magic of this is that it just is magically.
That's right.
Yeah.
If we're on the desert island, yes, then our genie just delivers our meals to us.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
Anyways.
Okay. So the next one, I'm thinking too, if you're on a desert island, I don't know, would a juicy ribeye be, or I don't know, would that be honestly appetizing?
Yes, it
would.
You think so?
I think anything would be
if you're
appetizing.
hot. I mean, if we have the perfect desert island.
Well, yes, it's 75 degrees all day long, sunny with plenty of shade.
Yeah, no
there's
humidity.
Fresh water nearby. I mean, we can design this exactly how we want.
We're eating beachside, so we're watching the waves roll in.
This is our desert island.
Okay. And for sure. Okay, then this for sure would be good. So this is also growing up, we went to this restaurant all the time. And then actually when I was dating Mac, my late husband, he lived in Omaha. That's how we actually met in my hometown. We used to go to this restaurant too. So very fond memories from both my growing up years and then dating my husband. And was Big Fred's Pizza. So they had the best pizza, and you could get thin crust, and especially 40 years ago, they hadn't gone into the deep dish, at least not in Omaha, Nebraska. So it was a very beautiful thin crust, and we always would get the work. So it was the one that had the absolutely everything on, like the beef lovers or whatever, on a beautiful crust. And then what I loved the best about it was their salads. So there again, I'm really a salad girl, but simple green salad, but they would put black olives in it, one anchovy, and then they had their own special vinaigrette. And now you can actually order it. I mean,
really?
I could have it shipped to me if I wanted to. And actually, a dear friend of mine had sent me 10 a few years ago. I've gone through all of them. I'm really okay with that. But I do recreate the salad quite frequently because I love to put anchovies on my salad, and the black olive, so good. And then my own version of a vinaigrette. But yes, Mac actually loved that. My late husband loved Big Fred's, and it's called Big Fred's Pizza. And it was the place before Godfathers came into town. And I don't know if either of you remember Godfathers, but it was like a startup. And it started in Omaha and then franchised out and then became, pretty big and famous. But Big Fred's always stood the test of time and everybody was very loyal. Great pizza. And I really am kind of a pizza girl.
Yeah.
I love pizzas. And I would probably want a beer with that pizza and salad.
Probably.
Right? And I'll back up to that ribeye. I would probably get a dirty gin martini. We're not talking cocktails.
Beth is breaking all of the rules.
I'm breaking all the rules today.
I was pretty specific, but now I'm going to
break all the rules.
I'm going to add some to my next one.
Breaking all the rules. Why not? It's our perfect desert island.
Yeah.
Okay, Kelly, what do you have?
Okay. So, I'm a big lover of Japanese cuisine. My godparents are Japanese. So when I was really little, I think the first food memories that I have are going to a Japanese fast food place in San Jose called Happy House. I think there is one left. It used to be a chain all over the South Bay, but I think there is just one left, if it's even still there. But anyway, so I had tons of memories of going to Happy House. Japanese food has always been a huge part of my eating life. So my next choice is ramen. And I'm not super picky about, like, it doesn't have to have, like, I'm not going to be all picky about the toppings, but I really want a nice pork broth. I want the noodles have to be cooked perfectly so that they're not too soggy. They're not overcooked. They're bouncy and delicious. That's very important. And I want to have nice slices of pork, roasted pork on that ramen. And I have to have a ramen egg, which is, it's kind of a runny center, hard cooked on the outside egg, but that's been marinated in a blend of soy sauce and other things. So those, it's got to have those things on it. Nice. And maybe some like togarashi, which is the 7 spice hot spices that you can put on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds
Mac
delicious.
Ramen.
I like ramen.
And when we lived overseas, because we lived in Asia for many years, that really was a go-to for many of us. So I would say, and that's the sad thing. You know how to make your own ramen. I don't. But we don't have any, we have to go about 45 minutes out of town to get a good ramen. It's like so sad. I'm like,
let me just say though, real quick, I know it makes me very sad that we have to drive that far, but Alex and I just did that the other day. And I will say, it was worth it. So,
it is.
Because in my mind, when I'm at home, I'm like, the last thing I want to do is drive 45 minutes to go get ramen right now.
But
we did it. And I was actually like, this really isn't that bad.
It's really not that bad.
Yeah.
It's not.
I have to move it to the top of my list when I'm thinking of.
I go to Buford. Well, not like all the time, but I have a friend that I'll meet like, halfway there.
Yeah.
So I've gone there many, many times just to have lunch or just to have dinner. Things like that. It's not too bad.
That's not bad.
Honestly, if you think, if we lived in Atlanta, I know it gets very localized, but
it takes me 45 minutes to get anywhere in Atlanta.
It can, right?
And so parking.
Yeah. If we think about that, but I do love a good ramen. So good. Okay, Chelsea.
All right.
Now that you know you can break all the rules.
I know. Well, my second one is I'm going to add on to this because I picked one specific item, but Caesar salad, specifically though from Little Alley Steak in downtown Roswell, and with extra salad dressing. Andrew always calls me Sally from When Harry Met Sally because I'm literally like, no, can I have this and this on the side and this extra? But if I had to add on to that, I would say they have this cognac shrimp that's really good that we normally get. It's an appetizer. And it's basically like this piece of toast with some sort of creamy sauce and then shrimp on top. I couldn't tell you what the sauce is. But that and then if I had to top it off, I would say their cheesecake at Little Alley's is.
Oh, is that really good?
So I got a whole meal, but if I had to cut this down into one item, it would be the Caesar.
It would be the Caesar.
Yeah.
Above the cheesecake.
Yeah. But that's Little Alley's I really like. Not only is their food excellent, but this is a place that me and Andrew go normally on a date night. We'll sit at the bar. And we like to sit at the bar. The service is really good. I would say that we just like going there because normally when you go there, we'll strike up a conversation with someone that's next to us at the bar, or the bartender will, he knows us and we'll start chatting with him. And so it's just kind of a fun date night experience that we enjoy to go.
I like sitting at the bar. Yeah. And actually, I don't know where you were. This is probably about a year ago, and I was just visiting, and Andrew and I went to Little Alley's and sat at the bar.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it was really fun.
Yeah. I mean, and I think the thing about Little Alley's too is, I said specifically the Caesar salad, but really anything that you get there is excellent.
Yeah.
But the service is just insanely good, which I think makes
a huge
difference. It does.
So really I guess adding on, if I can break the rules, not only do I need the Caesar salad, but it needs to be served by one of their bartenders or servers.
Oh,
on the desert island.
One particular bartender will be serving your Caesars. Is he cute?
Exactly.
Is he cute? Is that why? Or you just like him?
Oh, I just think that it could be anyone. Yeah. They just do a really good job training them.
I do like a good Caesar salad, but not all Caesars are made equally. And I think it just really depends on the dressing at the end of the day.
They have a really good dressing.
They have to make it in-house.
Yep, it has to be.
I don't like anchovies. Andrew gets, I mean, I don't like, obviously I know that that's a part of the salad dressing, but the actual anchovy on my salad, I can't do it.
Like that. Well, it's good you have options.
Yeah.
But you don't know what you're missing because they're pretty good. I would totally take yours. Okay.
Extra.
So my next, and it's kind of, and I guess it's kind of a meal too. I just have meals here, but you can't just have a hamburger without French fries. I'm sorry. So
are you going with hamburger or are you going with steak tartare?
My next one's kind of a meal too, so it's fine.
Okay. Well, okay. So I have the American version, which is a hamburger and French fries, because I grew up on that. I mean, and this is aside from McDonald's or any of the fast food restaurants, which I mean, I do like a Big Mac, or I like, what's Burger King's? I can't think of it now. The Whopper. Thank you. The Whopper. I do like those, but honestly, a homemade, I know how to make a pretty mean hamburger, but I don't know, hamburgers and French fries, they just go hand in hand. They just really,
big hamburger person.
Yeah, I know. You really don't. Yeah.
I do like hamburgers if they're cooked very well. I have found that it is very, very well. Yours are cooked very well? No, I believe you. It's just when you go out to a restaurant, I just find that they either overdo it.
They can.
And then to me, it starts to taste like meatloaf or something. And I'm like, I just can't get down with this.
Yeah.
It's hard to do a really well
I get
burger.
that. I mean, I think
the key to that is a smash burger.
A smash burger.
Yeah.
That's what I like, a smash burger.
Those are really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. But okay, so I had to add this too, because I also like the French version, which is steak tartare and pommes frites, which really is.
That's good.
Yeah. So good. And also because, I mean, a hamburger and French fries, I just grew up with that. It was just a standard meal that we had all the time. Although my mom she never made, her hamburgers were always really greasy, which is, I don't know, sometimes a greasy hamburger is like totally fine, but I really do like a really nice juicy hamburger. But steak tartare just takes everything up a level because it's just amazing. But there again, you really have to have the right recipe for that. You really do.
I feel like I like steak tartare, but then also there's something about, it's like I can have like 3 bites of it, and then after that, I'm like, something grosses me out about it.
It's very, very rich. You really.
It's kind of like when we did that Wagyu night.
Oh yeah.
Too much meat.
Yeah, too much meat. But Mac and I, when we lived in Vietnam, there was this really cute French restaurant called BB's. We went there every Friday night, and we always had steak tartare and pommes frites. So I also have a lot of sweet memories.
Yeah, that is a good one. Well, you could start with your steak tartare, and then you can use the leftovers from that to make your hamburger.
That's right.
There
you go.
Beth just really likes all of the meat.
I know.
The ribeye.
It shows my Midwest roots.
Yeah.
Does it not?
It does.
I mean, and Kelly, because Kelly grew up in the Bay Area, so she's had ramen, and then you had a taco, which would be very
California
typical. Very, very typical for you growing up.
I'm going to hit you with another California one here.
All right.
So
what do you have?
Pizza. So pizza's been a huge part of my life, my adult life mostly. I mean, of course, I have memories of being a kid and going to Round Table Pizza in California after soccer games and things like that. Who doesn't love pizza?
I know.
Who didn't grow up with pizza?
Right?
But
it's a universal food.
It really is. But I spent my entire 20s most of my entire 20s working at a pizzeria, like my late teens and up to my late 20s working at a pizzeria in San Francisco. It was a New York style pizzeria called Escape from New York. And after working there, since I knew how to make pizza, I managed to find myself making pizza in different ways, wood fired, blah, 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 all over the place for the rest of, my adult life, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
So pizza's just always been a really big thing for me. So generally I'm going to say pizza, but if I have to narrow it down to one type of pizza,
Mm-hmm.
I would probably have to go with just like the classic Neapolitan pizza. And even though I haven't had it in Naples yet,
Mm-hmm.
I hope that someday before my time is up that I will actually get to have it there
Mm-hmm.
for real.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's really hard for me to narrow down that category because there's just too many
pizzas.
combinations
I know
of pizza that I love.
I know. When I shared my pizza. I mean, I grew up with the supreme pizza, or the meat lovers pizza.
Yeah.
The one that had, again, I'm in the Midwest, and they put everything on it.
Mhm.
But I do like a margarita pizza these days.
Yeah.
I really do. It's very
Yeah.
simple and
Yeah, margarita.
mhm.
I mean, I think there's something really special about that, like the Neapolitan style pizza, because of the crust. So you're getting a pizza that that is, you're getting the whole pizza and it's not this ginormous thing.
Mhm.
It's not like a New York style where the slice is like the size
Right.
of your head. It's
Mhm.
it's a reasonable pizza, and the toppings are minimal. And I think that's the other thing about Neapolitan pizza that I really love is like it's not loaded with a bunch of stuff. So you can really taste all the individual flavors.
Mhm.
You can taste the dough,
Mhm.
which is a huge part of pizza for me. So
Mhm.
yeah, so Neapolitan style pizza if I have to choose a particular style.
I like it.
But I love them all.
I know. It's hard to choose
Yeah.
when it comes to pizza. Okay. Chelsea.
It's my next one. Okay. My next one is, it's not really a meal, but so it's tomato soup and a raspberry cheese Danish and a vanilla latte from this place that's in downtown Roswell. It's called, and I'm going to butcher this pronunciation, but Dossier de France.
Oh, I
Dossier?
don't know. I
know.
need to see how it's spelled.
But
Are those
it
all
is,
together. They serve those all together. So what?
oh, I order them all together.
Or them.
That's-
So what are they again?
So they're tomato soup. I get
Tomato soup.
a bowl of the tomato soup.
Okay.
I get a heated up raspberry cheese Danish,
Cheese Danish and the soup.
and I get a vanilla latte,
And a vanilla latte.
and I get them all together. And this place I love. It's kind of like this little hole in the wall place, and it's not a chain. So they have one in downtown Roswell, and then they have two locations at downtown Roswell, and then they have a location at the Marietta Square.
Okay.
And I think their original location is actually Marietta Square.
Okay.
And I've been to both. If you are in Atlanta, you have got to go to this place. They have the best pastries, the best tomato soup, the lattes, everything about this place is just divine. And I love a pastry, a Danish, a croissant. But
well, I just think the choice of the tomato soup with the raspberry croissant.
It's a weird choice.
It's very interesting.
But it's all three of my favorite things that they offer. And I really do actually get all of these together. Because what I'll do is I'll eat my tomato soup and then I have my cheese Danish as a dessert.
Like a dessert. Okay.
And then I've got my latte
that makes sense.
that I basically have in my to-go cup.
Okay.
Okay. But I go, so
thanks for the clarification. I feel
yeah,
better.
I needed to clarify that. But so basically the memories I have attached to this place specifically is that this is kind of the place that I go alone, like by myself. I feel comfortable just like, I mean, this is definitely a place where you can go with friends or somewhere to grab a bite, but like it's cute on the inside. I'll just go there. Sometimes I'll go and do a little bit of work. Sometimes I just go and sit. Like if I'm passing by and I'm like, you know what? I just need to like go and sit and have a latte and a cheese Danish. This is the place.
And you'll skip the tomato soup.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
But if you are ever in downtown Roswell or Marietta Square in Atlanta, Metro Atlanta, you must go. It's very good.
Okay.
Good recommendation.
Well, you have to take me there next time I come.
I will. Yeah. I'll take you.
Okay. So my next one completely different from my prior 3.
Yes.
So,
I should say.
all right. So it's chips and guacamole or chips and queso, because who doesn't love a good snack? These are such great snacking foods, honestly. And I mean, I could personally, and I've seen myself do this many times, because once I start eating chips and guacamole or queso, I just can't stop. I will keep going and going and going.
It's very addictive.
It's very addictive, and especially if you have the right kind of guacamole. I like fresh guacamole, and I just like the guacamole. Maybe put a little red onion in it, some lime juice, and that's it.
Yeah,
and just call it a day. It's just super fresh and so good.
Yeah,
and it's even better if you have homemade chips. I mean, those are, and so many restaurants do make their own chips. So
that's true.
If you're
That's
true. Since it is my desert island and I get to have,
might as well.
I think I would have the fresh chips too. Yeah. But yeah, I think that would be definitely just a go-to. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good snack.
It is a good snack.
For sure. My next one is a Vietnamese pork noodle salad called Bún Thịt Nhang. And it's so this is one of those things that once I figured out how to make it at home, it was like a whole new world of I don't know what was opened up for me, because this was a dish that I would only ever get at a Vietnamese restaurant. And it didn't really occur to me until I started the Jalali Cooks blog that I could make this really easily at home. So when I was young and in my 20s, I was in a band, and we would play in San Francisco a lot. And not all of the band lived in the same city at the same time. So often the shows that we would play in San Francisco at this place called Bottom of the Hill, prior to the show starting, the band would get together and we would have dinner before the show at this one Vietnamese place in Potrero Hill. And I would always get this one particular pork noodle salad dish. And so it has memories for me in that respect. But also, like I said, when I realized that I could make it at home, it just became this whole like, oh my gosh, this is like the best. Yeah. It's so good for summertime because it's a cold noodle salad with fresh herbs and cucumbers, and it's just so good. And then you have that nak mom sauce. So you make this yourself now? Yeah, definitely. And the that's what you said with Jalali grilled pork. Yeah, the grilled pork is like, it's marinated in like a caramel. It's like so you can make the caramel from scratch, and then you kind of make a marinade with the caramel and fish sauce and a little bit of salt. And you marinate the thinly sliced pork in that, and then you grill it. And you kind of have to grill it because you want the char from the fire. Because that just sends it over the edge. It's a really fantastic dish. I love it. Well, you'll have to make that for me. I know. Yeah. And then I'll come over. Yeah, it sounds really good. Especially, because now we're in the middle of summer. It's been beastie hot. I think we need to. I love recipes like that. Yes, definitely. And they're great for leftovers too, because it's cold. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, Bún Thịt Nhang. All right, Chelsea.
All right, my next one is also from another restaurant. All of these are from places, so it's nothing that I make myself. The next one is the shrimp kebab plate from this Mediterranean grill that's right outside of our neighborhood also. It's called Samad Mediterranean Grill. And I don't know what they do to this shrimp kebab plate. It's not even on a kebab. It's just like, I mean, maybe at one point in time it was, but basically it's on rice. So they serve it over this rice that's like a little yellow, the rice is. Saffron rice. Yes. And they've got the shrimp on it, and the shrimp are all like grilled or whatever they've done to them. And then they do a little like Greek salad with it. But then they have this like garlic almost paste or sauce. It's almost like a paste though. And then the bread, and it's just like the combination of the bread with the garlic paste sauce and then the shrimp. It's so good.
I love shrimp. I love grilled.
It's so
shrimp.
Good. I don't really have any like specific memories from this place other than it's right outside of our neighborhood. So it's very, it's very convenient
for you and Andrew. Yeah.
But they also have a really good chicken noodle soup. So if I could do Beth's rolls, then it would be the shrimp kebab plate and the chicken noodle soup.
I love a good chicken noodle soup. I make a pretty good chicken noodle soup all on my own. But
normally I'm not a chicken noodle soup person, but theirs is
I do in the wintertime.
really, really good.
And if I'm sick, honestly, I really do like chicken noodle
Yeah.
soup when I'm sick.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
I do too.
I believe in its powers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm bringing it home, ladies, with chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, wow.
So
Gotta have dessert.
Gotta have dessert. And actually, this is probably one of the first things that I ever learned how to bake.
Really?
Were chocolate chip cookies. And I just always use the Nestle Toll House recipe, but my brother really liked them. I kind of undercook my cookies, so they're never like...
and they're nice and chewy inside.
They're nice and chewy and moist and all of that.
I mean by like the Nestle Toll House, like you use
recipe on the chocolate chip cookies. So they have a recipe for chocolate chip.
Oh, do they? Like from scratch you do it?
Mhm.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
On the back of the
On the back
chips.
of this. Yeah.
Oh, on the back of the, okay.
They have a recipe just for...
Interesting.
And I mean, I think almost everybody probably uses it. It's super simple.
Yeah.
But one of the first things I learned how to bake, and when my older brother went away to college, he would always ask me to make him chocolate chip cookies. So I do have a memory attached to this. And that is when I was baking him some cookies, he was home and we were just like, being silly in the kitchen. And he's like, "What do you think would happen if I took this chocolate chip cookie and smashed it in your face?" And guess what he did? And the cookies had just been taken from the oven.
You smashed it in your face?
My eye.
It was
my eye.
gosh.
He burned my eye. Oh my God. He felt really badly.
I hope so.
Right. He just wasn't thinking. I mean,
Oh my gosh.
that was kind of
Yeah.
his problem throughout most of his life. He would just act on things and not think them through. But yeah, he actually burned my eye, and I was like,
Oh
okay,
my gosh.
I know that was a moment.
Yeah.
It definitely was a moment, but
It's not a great memory. But
no, well, it's kind of funny. I mean, I could tell you a gazillion stories like that growing up with my older brother, but the boys when they were growing up, and I can't say that. I mean, I would bake them at the beginning, but when time kind of got to be a little bit more of a crunch, one of our local grocery stores had really great chocolate chip cookies, so I would get those. We always had chocolate chip cookies. I mean, the boys always had that, or at least in the States. I can't attest to that being overseas, but Andrew actually loved his chocolate chip cookies, and then he would never tell us. To this day, we don't know. He would microwave his cookies and then not tell us how many seconds he used.
Oh, really?
Isn't that funny that Andrew would lord something like that over you? Oh, I'm not telling you how many seconds I used.
Not shocking.
But anyway, yeah, we always had chocolate chip cookies. So I do love a good... I rarely eat them these days, but I do like it.
A good chocolate
You
chip
really
cookie.
can. You can put ice cream in between them. I mean, there's all sorts of things that you can do.
way to go.
But honestly, I just like a Nestle's Toll House cookie.
Yeah.
And if I were ambitious, I probably should just make a batch and just keep them on hand.
You should.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And have them on hand. Okay.
Keep them in the freezer too.
I know. That's a good thing about cookies. You really
Mhm.
can, which
Yeah.
is nice. So
So my last choice it was tough to come up with the final choice, but I'm confident in my choice. I just feel like now that we're talking about food, there's like so many more things I'd want to add.
I know, right?
So my final choice is a saucisson bear sandwich. Okay, so this is a French sandwich. It's on a beautiful French baguette.
Mm-hmm.
So do you remember? It's the brie with the butter and the
Tomato?
salami
Oh, no.
and the Cornichon little dill pickles.
Mm.
That's it.
Very, very simple.
Very, very simple, but it has to be on a real French baguette.
Mhm.
So this is a sandwich that I don't think I had really ever had in its fullest capacity until you and I went to Paris.
Mhm.
And then you could buy one at the gas station.
I
And it
know.
tastes 100% better than any one
I
you
know.
can make here because we just don't have
Right?
the same kind of bread. So that would be another one, and that's one of those
Yeah.
things that like the simplicity of that sandwich is just one of the best, most satisfying tasting sandwiches. It's just so you taste every single bit of it, and it's just wonderful. It's such a good sandwich. So
Well, I will share. So my late husband, Mac, that's exactly how he made sandwiches.
yeah,
He grew up in Vienna, not France, but it was a very simple sandwich, but it was a baguette. It was butter, had a pickle, and then invariably like salami or whatever meats that we had. And
Yeah.
that would be it. I mean, and he,
perfect.
they are pretty good sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's probably, because he didn't cook at all. Man did not cook.
Yeah.
But he did make a pretty mean sandwich. That was one of these.
I think the other thing that I think we can get a lot of these ingredients here now in a
Mhm.
better way than we ever could before. But the other ingredient that I think really sets this apart when you actually eat it in France is the butter. Like that
No, their
real
butter
French
is
butter.
so
It's like
good. I know.
just salty enough, but like not super salty, very creamy, very rich, almost cultured. Like it's just such a great.
It is.
Yeah. So
I agree.
next
Okay,
batch.
Chelsea, you're
Wrapping
you're
it
really
up.
bringing it home. So what are we having?
Well, kind of like Kelly, I had a hard time coming up with a fifth one, but I feel good about my fifth one, and it is a buffalo chicken wrap from Publix. Like a white wrap with ranch, buffalo sauce, their chicken tenders, like tossed all of that together, banana peppers, pickles, tomato, oregano, and pepper, and then a side of jalapeno chips.
Wow, I've never had that.
But in a wrap, though.
Sounds really good.
Well, you get it at the deli, like where they make the subs.
Right. Yeah. So
I don't like their sub bread though. So that's why I like.
That's why you like the wrap,
because it's thinner and it's just not. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of like if I'm on the run or something, you know, I can go into Publix and get that. If their deli line is not super long,
it's always
the sub line is always.
When is it not insane?
At like 9:30 a.m. You got to go in the morning.
But they do have, I think you can order ahead and then they can just put it like
they can put it on the side. That's true.
Which is nice. Yeah, because whenever I go in, just to grab something at Publix, I'm always like,
the sub line is so long.
I'm like, wow, but people,
they are very good subs.
They're dedicated and they will wait through that.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies. Well, we are going to take a quick break and we're going to come back with our segment, my favorite segment, New and Noteworthy. And we're back with New and Noteworthy, where because we're ladies and we love to shop, we love to find new things, and we also love to share our secrets. So they're not secrets anymore, but we like to share our finds with each other. So, and it could be a book. Usually we have books, TV, it could be a movie, it could be a product, it could be, that's usually what all the territory that
trend lately,
that we cover. So, okay, Kelly, what do you have this week?
Okay, so this
New and Noteworthy.
Yeah, this podcast is coming out after the season 3 of The Bear drops. So while I'm going to talk about it right now, I haven't actually seen it yet. We're a week out. But I will. I wanted to bring it up because in case anybody hasn't seen the seasons 1 and 2, like now is the time. Like, don't watch season 3 yet, obviously. Right. Watch the others and then watch season 3. It's going to be amazing. The previews for it look fantastic. I've heard interviews and read different blurbs by the people who make it, who are in it, and they're like the things that they have in store sound really amazing. I can't tell you how much I love this show. It was kind of a revelation as far as prestige TV goes for this day and age, and it's a like 30-minute show, which is another thing that I think is really smart about it.
Everything about it is smart.
Yeah, it's really just such a great, and Hulu. So it's on FX on Hulu, and they drop all of the episodes at one time. So on the 27th, June 27th, when this does premiere, that is what I'm going to do all night. Is watch the entire season.
Oh my gosh, the entire season?
Yeah, I'll do it all in one sitting because I can't. That show, once
it's
a good show.
I
can't stop.
I watched it with Andrew.
It's
good.
Isn't it good?
Yeah, it's good.
It's so good. And actually, a dear friend of mine just started watching it. I mean, she'd been hearing me talk about it for a while, and I think we had a conversation about it too. But she was just saying how good it is, but how intense it is. And I'm like, I know. If the first few episodes, but then they're so intense. But when you get past that, you're looking back, you understand why they filmed it that way.
Yeah,
because it truly immerses you in that whole environment.
Yeah,
it's so good, and I can't wait for season 3.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think everyone that's ever worked in a restaurant who has made a public comment about this show cannot get over how well they've captured what it's actually like to work at a restaurant, which is why I think this show resonates so far across the board with so many people, is because if you've worked in a restaurant especially, you can appreciate it for something on this whole other level that is really fun to share and be able to talk about with people. So
I'm looking forward to it. So thank you for that. So if you have not watched The Bear, please tune in. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah.
And now they'll have 3 seasons.
3 seasons.
That you can binge watch. So, okay, Chelsea, what do you have today?
So mine is new, and I actually binged a bunch of it yesterday. And it's on Netflix. It's the DCC Making the Team, so Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
Oh,
But it's a new one. So they did a new one from the 2023 to 2024 season.
Mm-hmm.
So it was Making the Team 2023.
So do they have the same people?
So, yep. So Kelly, I don't remember what her last name is, but her name's Kelly, and she's the director of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. And she has been since like 1994, the past like 34 years or something like that. And then is it Jody, or it starts with a J, but she's the same.
I think it's Jody.
Yeah. And, but they did, honestly, I even got Andrew into watching it, from the last time that they filmed, which granted they filmed the last seasons of this, like in the mid, 2010, COVID. I think it was like 2010, 2014. Like, I don't know. It was earlier on, and like the technology obviously wasn't as good as it is now, as far as filming goes. But I feel like they did such a good job, and they did a really good job about capturing all of the girls' stories, like backstories. And it was about making the team, but it was also like shedding light on like, okay, this is this person's backstory. And there was one of the girls that her mom used to be a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, and her dad was a cameraman, and that's how her mom and her dad met. And then she's now a DCC, and there was like, her dad ended up, he had a lot of mental health issues, and it was like super sad with how all of that ended, but they did a really good job, and it had me like laughing and tears, and also kind of brought me back to my dance roots, because
I bet.
I feel like a lot of the things that they go through, I was like, oh wow, like that's how it is.
Yes. Yes. The scrutiny when you're auditioning.
Yeah.
Yes.
So interesting.
So did Andrew like it too?
He liked it. He was getting into it, and he was like, oh, so is that how it really is? And because, Kelly or Jody, basically, when the girls would be dancing and they'd stop the music, and in front of everyone, 70 people, they'd be like,
I know,
Caroline, when you do that kick, you're not pointing your toe, and you're not looking this way, and you look like this. And all of the girls would be like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And like, that's how it is. Like, you're just basically scrutinized in front of everyone.
Yeah.
And you just have to be like, yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll do.
You get a thick skin pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I've watched. It's been a while, but and I'm not sure how many seasons they have, but I've watched it like back in the day.
Yeah. This one's better.
Back in the day,
they did a really good job. So I would say, even if you're not from a dance background or a dancer, I think that you would really enjoy it. So
cool.
Okay,
I recommend.
All right. Well, I discovered it's a new series on Apple TV. It's called Presumed Innocent. So way back in 1990, Harrison Ford actually starred in a movie. So this is basically a remake of that. And it's based on a book by Scott Turow, who is an amazing author. But the newest rendition is Jake Gyllenhaal. And they've really updated it for 2024. And supposedly, I don't know if it's true, because they've it's released week by week. So... and I'm at a very pivotal point, but supposedly there could be a different ending than the book.
Well, don't give it away, because I
won't give any of the
this,
endings.
and I want to watch it.
No, I won't give any of the anything away. But if you have perhaps watched the movie, and actually I started watching this, and then I was so engrossed. It's like, I have to go back and watch the Harrison Ford, and I did, which is also very, very good.
Yeah.
Very good, but I highly recommend this. Jake Gyllenhaal's great. It's a great supporting cast and a lot of twists and turns. And I like how, because it is a limited series, but they've drawn it out. So, comparing it to the movie, which is actually very well done, the writing was very tight. They had a really tight screenplay. But I really like how they're drawing it out, because there's just so much more that they can explore. And I think that this premise warrants that.
Yeah.
So very good. And I've always loved Jake Gyllenhaal. He's always been
is good.
favorite of mine. Although supposedly he done Taylor Swift wrong years ago. But
Not
okay, Jake, I still love you. Okay, ladies. Well, that wraps up another episode of Message from Mom, where we're busting the myth that mothers-in-law aren't necessarily monsters-in-law.